Hi, I'm Thomboi, coming to you live from Mexico. Say I'm like a songwriter or I'm a musician or something. I'm a queer musician.
But I clung to a better side.
When I first started writing music, I would leave it not gender specific at all, and that was my way to protest. I'd be like, I'm not saying he, I'm gonna say they, and like that was lit to me. That was so much. I was like, I'm really doing something here. Once I finally came out and started to accept myself, I'm writing songs like she. I can't get enough of saying she, to now where I'm listening to the music I've made since I'm coming out, and it's like, why do I keep saying she? Like, I'm like, relax, like, we get it. Like, and to me, it's really cute because I'm like, wow, you're really like overcompensating now for all those years you
Right.
didn't say she. Now my new music is almost becoming non-gender again. Yeah, full circle with that one.
You also wrote that you try to work with as many queer people as possible. Do you feel like that influences the way you work or the music you make, or?
I love to work with queer people because to me that's activism. There's not a lot of visibility when I was growing up, and I think that if I have a skill of songwriting, and I can use that to give more queer people safety, more representation, that inspires me. I also, because I was doing music 10 years ago, when I was closeted, I am so envious. I was going to say jealous, which I'm a little jealous too, but like of these young 18, 19, 20-year old out, just didn't, just carefree. Like, I'm like, wow, like, so jealous. You have no idea how much I would just kill to be out in 20. My God. I very selfishly get a second chance in them to be this young, queer, hip contribution to society, which is through them and in my music. And that is really exciting.
You've also collaborated with a bunch of different artists, also like bigger artists. I think Troye Sivan was also on there on the list. So what's it like working with those bigger names in the industry? Is that a very different dynamic?
It was funny because Troye Sivan is one of my favorite artists, but at the time was like the Blue Neighborhood record I was so obsessed with. And when I got my publishing deal, which was a huge turning point in my career and already so unbelievable, somebody had asked me, like, if you could write for anybody, who would it be? And I said Troye Sivan. And within months of that, and I thought that'd be like a years long process, within months of that. And this is why I think manifestation is like, I just believed that I could work with him, and it happened. It was, as you can imagine, just like a life-changing, very beautiful moment as a queer person, getting a huge song with a queer person who was your favorite artist. You just got a signed publishing deal. I mean, I was on absolute cloud nine. It was amazing.
About like the style of music you make, if you feel like you make queer music or if you're just a queer person making music. Do you feel like there's like a queerness in your sound?
Right. Well, I think I do make queer music, though wouldn't really label it as queer music, but I'm queer and I'm making it. And I think music is just an extension of your being. It's in the fabric of my music, my queerness. So you can't. It's not gonna not be there in every single song because I can't escape it. Therefore, my music shouldn't. So I think we should be careful about labeling music queer music, gay wedding. It's like we're all human. We all have the same type of like things that affect us in emotions and stuff. And like, sure, we deal with different shit, but like, I think like our fears, wanting love and acceptance, that's universal.
Do you feel that queerness and especially coming out is very sensationalized in media and within the entertainment industry? And how do you feel about that?
Nowadays, it's become such a trendy, cool thing that people are now using it who aren't even queer to advance their appeal. And I do think it's quite sensationalized. Yeah, it's sad to see that that has to happen first, like but ultimately I think I default to like it's all progress, you know? And I don't think like these people like Harry Styles on the cover of Vogue wearing a dress is like out to get gay people or anything. I think that it's just the way these things go. You know, it takes something like that to bring it into the mainstream, and hopefully the next time we'll put an actual trans man, trans female on the cover, or trans person on the cover of Vogue.
So then in that sense, maybe there is some good to the sensationalization of like coming out, because then even if you'd never heard of the artist, suddenly you read this headline like this person's gay or this person's trans or whatever, and like, oh wow, this person is like making it big in the music industry and they're queer, so why shouldn't
Yeah,
I?
I think we have to just go through the process of it, you know? It's like we're not to the point where it's so normalized we don't even have to come out anymore.
You're still coming out every time you meet new people or get into a new environment or get a new job or stuff like that, so you always keep coming out over and over and over and over again.
Literally every time you walk into a room. Am I safe here in my sexuality? Do I have to hide myself to protect my life, my job, my income? You know? Think of that every single time. That's why I think when these people are wearing these dresses and stuff and they're just like this, I'm like, just stop for 2 seconds. I don't care if you do it, just stop and go like, man, somebody actually who does wear this dress has to fear for their life every time they enter a new space. Think about that. Think about what you're banking on, bro. Like, it's okay, but just really think about it.
Besides obviously yourself, if you had any other queer artists or just artists in general that influenced your music and inspired you, or that you just think people should listen to more?
Shout out to Tegan and Sarah Brandon Carlisle. And of course, Frank Ocean was huge. And then some of the newer artists coming up. King Princess, I really love what she's doing. I think I love that she produces her own stuff. And I love Troye Sivan. Troye Sivan is like, he was kind of like this man who kind of rides the line between feminine and masculinity, and he just made it so I identified with him so much in the way he rides those lines that it was such a clear like picture of something that I was like, wow, that's like an exact expression of how I feel with my gender, like this in my feminine masculine expression. I don't even know how to talk about that, but like, I mean, I just became comfortable with identifying as queer probably like 2 years ago, and then like a year ago started using they them in addition to she, and it's funny to me how it all is always evolving, you know? It's like never really stopped coming out in that way, you know? Because once you've began exploring yourself, there's no end to that deepness, you know? It's kind of like, oh, interesting. Like, I just think that's so crazy. And like seeing yourself mirrored is so important. You don't know what you do for someone when you are yourself.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's see. So, I mean, do you have any final remarks or anything you wanted to say?
Keep your eye out for more music I'll be releasing. And if you're a songwriter, you know, because I write for pop artists as well, you know, like I'm going to start doing, releasing content to help songwriters develop their skills and things like that. So, yeah, come through, be part of my world, and no, just, you know, check out my music and follow me on my social media, and please be in touch. I'm an open book, just always down to connect with my like queer community.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing the interview too. And we'll be in touch.